Hey, y'all, welcome back to another episode of the Late Night Vision Show. We've got a special one here for you today. This is part of the series of Jason Robertson is out of town. So we have been playing catch up as much as we can to get as much show and content out to you as possible. But we're going to introduce our guest. But before that, we're going to introduce the main sponsor, the title sponsor of the show, Mr. Jason Robertson, owners of Outdoor Legacy. How you doing, bud?
Man, I'm doing good. Yes, the main sponsor, i.e., the only
Yep.
sponsor, but that's okay.
Don't come unless you're bringing the money.
That's exactly
Don't show
right.
up.
So we have been trying to pre-record some shows for me being out of town and going on a family vacation. Still be working, but we're trying to bring you shows every week, even when we're not here, unavailable. So we do have a great show this week. This is one we've been excited about. We've been talking about for a good while now. And we've got with us, I want to introduce and bring him in. It is Mr. Jason Brooks. He is works with Sniper Hog Lights there in Victoria, Texas. Jason, how are you? And welcome to the Late Night Vision Show. Absolutely. We are glad to have you here. So for those that don't know, I want to just real quickly talk about Sniper Hog Lights. If you're a listener of this show, a fan of the show, you've probably heard us talk about the hog lights before. They sell a lot of different things. We'll kind of get into some of that later, but the main thing is they're known best for their IR illuminators, the infrared illuminators that are used in conjunction with digital night vision scopes. So Outdoor Legacy, we're a dealer for Sniper Hog Lights. We've been working with them for a while. We've done reviews on the show of some of their lights. Hans and I use them, recommend them for things like the Sightmark Wraith, the Pulsar Digexes, a lot of the different digital night vision scopes. They make really high quality scopes, IR illuminators for scopes. And they are a great company, bunch of great guys here in Texas. And we're just glad to be able to work with them and glad to have Jason on the show.
Heck yeah. Right. Excited to be here.
Great. Well, we're glad to have you.
All right. Well, so let's get right into it, Jason. So, heard a little bit about you, where you're from, but tell us a little bit about how you got started in the industry and especially with Sniper Hog Lights.
Yeah, actually, I met Joe Ruiz. He's one of the co-owners back in 2012. I was working for Gavilon Fertilizer down in the port of Corpus Christi. And in his free time, when he wasn't in the shop putting lights together and whatnot, he would survey barges. And he'd come down and survey barges for me. And, he kept inviting me up to go hunting with him. And finally, one weekend I did. And, I kind of learned about what they were doing, what they were selling. And I started looking, as the months and then years were going by, I started looking at their social media. And I was like, guys, you guys are getting hammered by your competition for being, one of the first hunting light company, known in Texas out on the market. You're getting hammered by a lot of the competition that's out there that's, not come on until recently as far as social media, presence was concerned. I said, if you want me to, I'll help you out. So Rob and Joe came up with the idea that I'd take over the Facebook page, and then I started their Instagram, actually in my living room in Corpus Christi. And then from there, man, I started taking over the YouTube channel and just hitting different parts of the social media. And then, I always help Joe do shows and just constantly try to get the content out there, but not give away exactly what all is getting ready to come out yet or what's coming up, but still, and also share our customers. Customers are our number one, so I always constantly trying to share their success and their videos and their stuff, even over our own, just because it makes them feel like they're part of something more than just, buying a light from a company.
That's exactly right. So, with that, we do know, and I want to point everybody towards your Instagram. I'm not on Facebook, everybody knows, but everybody listens to this show because I talk about it a lot. But I do see a lot of your Instagram stuff. It looks great. I know you do a lot of Instagram live videos, and I see you in the shop testing out these lights. So it seems like it's grown just from the social media man to development, production, all the way down the line. You're doing it all, man. You're involved in it all.
Yeah, that was part of it. Because I didn't start working for Sniper Hog Lights till a little over a year ago, and so when they came in, they're like, just keep doing what you're doing, and then if we need help in the shop, help out. But I'm one of those guys that I always feel like I need to go above and beyond and make them know, like, hey, I'm going to be here 9 to 5, whether I'm going through lights the whole time or I'm working on, an email blast, or no matter what I'm doing, I'm going to be here in case somebody needs something. And that goes for after hours as well. It's not just go to the shop and then once I hit the time clock at 5, I'm done. It turns into an all night. Sometimes I got guys calling me at midnight asking me questions about lights and scopes and different stuff. And so I'm always there trying to help out and be there for folks who may not have the knowledge in night vision and infrared lights. I can always point them in the right direction.
Well, that's one thing I want to jump in here and say that we greatly appreciate as dealers working with y'all is the customer service that you provide. I mean, not only are y'all super responsive for us if we have a problem or we've got a customer with a problem, but I can rest assured and sleep good at night selling your products, knowing that if somebody calls y'all or emails y'all or whatever it is, you're going to help them with the problem. Y'all are known for very good customer service, and it's pretty amazing to me. I mean, I've had some guys that, weird things. Maybe they broke their tail cap, or maybe they're, something was wrong on their mount, whatever, is something minor, and that they'll, call me and be like, hey, what do you think I'm going to have to do? And I'm like, oh man, just call. It's this idea of like, oh no, I'm going to have to call this number and I'm going to punch 42 buttons and I'm never, that. And I'm like, trust me, guys, just call. They're in Texas. They're good guys and y'all take care of them. Johnny on the spot. And so definitely, I know that you're out there on social media answering people's questions. And then as well, I know when people call in or whatever. So the customer service is a big part of it for y'all.
Absolutely. That's from the first time I met Rob. I seen, he would take some calls and I just listened to him, with customers who had questions or, it may not have been a customer service issue. Shoot, so we have guys that call and tell us what they're running. And, I've heard Rob try to help somebody who owns one of our competitors' products, but he's wanted to help them first and not just try to sell them another product. And the reason being is because he is all about people being more successful and people being able to, not have as many problems in the field and to help educate them themselves. So when I came along, I wanted to go off of, the trend he already was making, which was customer first, sale later. Just take care of the person, help them out in any way, shape, or form. And that's one of the things I try doing now because, a lot of guys that are green, they'll ask questions about, what night vision to get or what thermal to get. And, a lot of guys or should they go night vision or go thermal? And to answer those questions, it's kind of like, what do you need it for? How far are you shooting? Right. Ask the questions to get answers so you can know what's going to fit them the best. And on top of that, price range, because we know you can go from a $300 night vision scope to a $15,000 thermal scope, or even night vision for that matter, and beyond. But so it's just constantly trying to be there and help people out as best we can.
Hans, it sounds to me like he's doing our job. It sounds to me like he's so
I feel like we should be sending him a check. Or
exactly right. Exactly. So if you need your IR illuminator, you go to Sniper Hog Lights. You need your scope, you come down to her Legacy. No, so with that said though, y'all don't sell scopes, but what all do you sell? Because again, I know that in our world, which is night vision and thermal, you're known for IR illuminators and really, really bright ones, really good ones. And we'll probably get into some of that a little bit later. But tell us, what else do you sell? Because I know y'all have got other products that are things we don't necessarily carry. And then what do you sell the most of? What do you feel like your focus is right now?
We have an array. We got the Exterminator 2 feeder light. Which can also be IR. because it has interchangeable heads. So you can go red, green, white, IR, all interchangeable.
And hang on, you said that's. I just want to interrupt. You said that's a feeder
Correct.
light. You putting it on underneath your feeder.
Yes,
correct?
well,
Yeah.
actually, this one you actually mount away from your feeder, and it lights up the whole feeding area. Because
that's cool.
it's basically like it's got three 20 millimeter heads on it, which are fully adjustable, just like the rest of our lineup. So the further away you get from your feeder, because you can mount this up to 200 yards away. So let's say a guy has a deer blind at 100 yards. He can mount it to the side of his deer blind and light up his whole feeding area. And then of course it has a remote, so you can turn it up and down, and it has low, medium, high on the remote. So it just gives you it gives you a lot more range and a lot more versatility, because like I got a buddy who has a protein feeder and a feeder real close to each other. So he has two of the heads pointed at the feeder and the other one pointed at the protein feeder. So he's lighting up two feeding areas at the same time off one light. And then of course you got the new Coyote cannon, which came out a year ago. That is our most powerful light we have, from red, green, white, all the way to IR 850 and 940. It's my personal favorite just because of the performance based. It's insane. But
it is. It's super bright.
And then you got the LRX lineup, which is 66 LRX, 50 LRX, 38, which are all interchangeable with one another. So whether you're a rifle hunter or a bow hunter, you can interchange all the parts. So let's say you had like a 38 and you're running on your rifle, you could add just a bow light tail cap, put it on a bow, change the LED, and you're ready to rock.
That's something. Yeah, I'm just mentioning real quick. I'm gonna cut in on you again. That's something that I was shocked when I first hooked up with y'all. Is for what he's talking about, folks, is basically there's three components. You've got your head, which has got your lens in it. You've got your tube, and you've got your tail cap. There's different tail caps, like he said, for bow hunting, different things. And then the tube stays, I'm assuming, constant, but the head can change. So you could buy a 66 and then change your mind and say, hey, you know what? For this application, I might want the small 38. All you got to do is buy the head and put on there. So it's pretty cool. They don't make you buy the whole thing again.
Absolutely, and that was just being for the hunter. Rob was really thinking about, because prior to that, which many people don't know this, but Rob made the first true 66 millimeter fully focusable light on the market, which there was no template. So it was trial error, and it took him about as long as the Canon, which I got to watch from start to finish, which is 2 years of R&D. But he got it. Well, then he started with a 30. It was a 30 LR, the 50 LR, and the 66 LR. Now, the 50 and 66 would interchange with each other, but the 30 wouldn't. So when he went to the LRX models, that's when he upgraded the 30 to a 38, so it could be interchangeable. That way it saved the customer more money from having to buy multiple lights for multiple applications.
That is really cool.
That is. So I want to talk about, there's two Jasons on the line. So I want to, Jason Robertson, and I have a problem with the name Jason. I always want to call Jason Robertson Justin for some reason. Yeah. I did it once and I never heard the end of it. But
terrible.
But anyway, to our loyal fans out there, they'll get a kick out of that because they still call Jason Robertson Justin because of that. But I want to say this, Mr. Jason Brooks. Jason Robertson and I talk about what the cool kids are doing these days, and the cool kid club and all the cool pictures you see and all the cool equipment that people are using. I'm going to tell this. If you are a night vision hunter and you've got one of these red lights on your rifle, you are in the cool kid club. And so everybody can tell because it's a very, I would say, strategic design and look. It's got the red light, the red outside housing of the light looks cool. It's got the cool logo. But tell me a little bit about what makes the Sniper Hog Lights special.
The performance. For me, Rob from day one was all about performance. It was always staying up with the LED technology, always evolving. for the longest time, LEDs were new. So as something's new, you're going to have changes. Boom, 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 boom. I mean, it's going to happen fast, because boom, they're going to change. Now you see that trend starting to slow down to where LEDs aren't evolving as fast anymore, especially red, green, white, and even IR for that matter. They're not really, the changes aren't as fast. But at first, and a lot of his customers didn't even know this at first, but when the LR models came out, Rob actually went through 4 different LED upgrades within the first 2 years. So wow. Guys could have, they would have kept upgrading to get further shining. But that's always been one of Rob's goals. It's like his mecca. I mean, that's his go-to. I want to be the furthest shining, the best performing light on the market. But on top of that, you get a lot of people that ask questions of, well, what if you guys tried doing this or you do that? And one of them here recently was, well, what if you had a USB plug? And, I had an experience with my Wraith where, I use an external battery pack, to get extra battery life out of it in a night. And the battery port went bad after a week. And there was nothing, it wasn't Sightmark's fault, it wasn't the design fault, it was the fact that the cord I was using was putting too much weight on it. And I do a lot of spot and stock. So Sightmark took care of me, but it's the same situation. It's the more things we add to a light, the more problems we have that can go wrong. So Rob tries to keep it simple, simple for the customers to just make it so it's less foolproof. So if something does happen, it's a quick boom. Here's a new tail cap in the mail. Boom, here's a new LED in the mail. It's not, well, we got to think about what's wrong with it and put a lot of
right.
thought into, man, maybe the charger ain't working right or something like that.
Well, so when I see some of your videos on Instagram, I see you in the shop and you're pointing lights at a wall. Tell us a little bit about don't you have like a fancy tester? You got to have a fancy tester or something. You're pointing it at the wall just to measure, I guess, how the light output or something and making
Absolutely.
sure that it's good.
Yeah, that's one of the, flagships of Sniper Hog Lights as well is all the numbers Rob posts. We actually have a light distance, like drop down on our website that you can go to, and it'll tell you how far each light shines. And all those numbers are minimums. The reason why he put that on there was because people can actually go research it and go, hey, okay, it's going to at least shine this. Now, so for me, when I'm testing lights, when I'm putting them together and getting ready to package them up, I make sure that each one's putting out over the minimum that we state it will shine on the website. Now, we have some that shine way over, and then we have some that shine under. Now, when the ones shine under, they go in a box and to the scrap yard. So there's a lot. We go through all the components. The tail caps, LEDs, the housings, because we want to make sure the tubes perform like they're supposed to. They're not lopsided from the machining being bad or something like that. There's a lot of things we check, and then we check it again, and actually again. A lot of people, but it's almost like an assembly line. Joe goes through it first, and then I go through it when I package it up into the cases, and then Ashley or Rob goes through it again before they ship it out. So it's a constant go through, but that keeps us from, when somebody gets their package and they're excited about their light, they're getting ready to use it. As soon as they get that battery charged up and they put it in that light, we are almost 100% sure as soon as they hit that button, it's going to come on and it's going to work like it's supposed to. And that's what we strive for, is to make sure that we go through everything. We have good quality control, because if we don't, man, we'd have a lot more phone calls than I do now.
Well, you mentioned there about testing those and the minimums, and it kind of makes me laugh. Hans and I know this because we talk to people all the time that will tell us that whether it's their thermal scope or their night vision or whatever, they'll give us yardages of things that they're seeing, and sometimes we'll kind of shake our head. Like there'll be some guys say, he's got a $5,000 scope, and he says, well, I can probably see out there about 100, 150 yards. And I'm thinking, 150 yards, something's wrong with that thing. And the next guy tells me that he's identifying rabbits at 2,500 yards. And I'm like, man, a lot. So I know when you see that stuff on the internet, a lot of people aren't a good judge of distance and range, but y'all's stuff, you're actually testing. And I know Hans alluded to it there because I've heard Rob talk about it. He told me about this a long time ago. He does have some kind of a machine that actually tests the output of those lights so he can see exactly how bright y'all's lights are compared to competitors and such.
That is
Isn't that
correct. Yeah, and we can do it all the way to IR. Believe it or not, the IR meter we have, there's only one company in the entire world that we know of where we could find one, and Rob bought it, so we could test IR output. And the main reason why he wanted to do that was when he started building the cannon, he wanted to make sure the cannon was hands down, no question, the baddest LED IR light anybody would ever see. So when he started bringing in sample LEDs, because a lot of people don't realize this, but when Rob does sample LEDs, he's still soldering all of the samples himself. Wow. So he builds the LEDs on the driver boards himself, and then I go test them. I test them in the field. He tests them in the shop. He'll test them on a meter, but I'll actually go to the field and test them and then give him ranges because I go out and range everything. I got one part of my on my property where it's right at 1,300 yards from one corner to the other corner is 1,300 yards. And somebody asked me one time, how far can you see with the Wraith in the cannon? And I said, well, I can stand at one corner of my property and see 1,300-yard tree line on the other side. So can I tell you? Can I tell you what's there? No, probably not. But I can light it up. I can know like it's. I can see the trees. I can see, the limbs and leaves and all that. But can I say, light it up now? I tested the cannon with a Gen 3 D760 scope, and I can see leaves like they're daylight. I mean, with the cannon, it just makes daylight. And a lot of guys are like, well, it's Gen 3. Why do you need an IR? Well, it's not that you need it. It's that it makes everything so much more clear. It just brings it to life even more than what it does without it. Yeah. So, but yeah, testing wise, Rob is huge on numbers, and we've seen where some folks have said numbers don't matter, but there's a thing that numbers don't lie. So when you say numbers, it's just numbers don't lie. So it's one of those things that you can test. So.
Well, Hans and I have reviewed both the Canon and the 66. We like the 66 just because of the size and the weight. But there's one thing that we won't deny. We sell a lot of Coyote Cannons, and that is that it is the brightest light, IR light I have ever seen. And the comment that I make and Hans and I kind of laugh about, and I tell customers this on the phone, they say, how bright is it? And I say, you can see the backside of the moon with that thing. And so I think if that was me and I own Sniper Hog Light, I would just put that like in cursive right across there. You can see the backside of the moon. It is true. And the Canon is a great name. That thing is big, but it is bright. So it's a great light.
It is. And when you're looking on social media, that is the one that I see the most of. I don't know why, but that Coyote Cannon seems to be very, very popular. And I know predator hunters out there, I mean, they gobble this stuff up because they need to be able to see as far as they possibly can. But it's definitely people love to show their pictures of it, and they're pretty cool. It is big, but man, you can see forever. There's no
Jason, I got another question. So I know you said the Canon is basically the newest thing y'all have come out with, and again, it's been a huge success. But anything new? Where are y'all going now? What's going to be the next big thing? Any improvements? What can we look for? Anything that Rob will let you tell us without getting you fired? Or I don't, honestly, I mean, if you get fired, I mean, we'll send you $20 or something. But what can you tell us?
Well, like I had told you before, with the old LRs, how many updates there are. Well, that doesn't change just because we came out with the Canon. He's actually after the Canon released, he started working on making the LRX models brighter, shine further, and so now we will be releasing the new 850 and 940 IRs, which on the meter are the 850 is putting out right between the current 66 and the Coyote Cannon. It's literally halfway. So for the guys that don't want the weight of the Cannon, but yet already have a 66, for a $29.99 upgrade through Outdoor Legacy, they can pick one up and get even further.
Yes, you hear that. You heard
nice.
So hang on. All right, so I want to get
I think
this
you just
straight.
bought yourself another interview.
I think so. Yeah, you can come on next week. You keep this up, and Hans will fire me. You'll be in my seat.
Yeah.
So hang on. All right, I want to get this straight. So you've got the LRX, which again is the 38, the 50, and the 66. You've got a new LED module that is going to upgrade each of those and make them, I don't know, I don't want to say as bright, but as close to at least halfway up the ladder to the next one. So if you got a 50, you can put this new LED in there and be almost as bright as a 66, but with the 50
Absolutely.
head. Is
That
right?
actually, I did some testing last week with the 50 with the Sight Marker 8 HD, and I have a spot on my property where I have a feeder. My field is 400 yards wide, and my feeder is 20 yards off the back fence at 400 yards. So I have a spot that's cleared out in between two big oak trees where I can stand, and I ranged it. It's actually 596 yards from where I stand to that feeder. And I can see pigs, deer, cows, you name it, I can see it. Well,
wow.
So then I went to a longer field. I was like, I want to see it. Now, it could shine, and I thought I was using a 66, but I had the 50. Now, Friday night, I decided I wanted to go out with the 38. And I was actually like, you know what? I want to see how the 38 does with the new LED. And same spot, and I could tell there was pigs at the feeder at 592 yards.
Wow.
Man.
Okay, so folks, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm holding a 66. I'm going to show you something here. While he's talking, I've been trying to do this quietly. All right, this is the head. I'm unscrewing this. Okay.
Oh, live demonstrations never
live
work
demonstration. What can go wrong? So
Yeah.
right here, this I'm unscrewing with my fingers. This is the LED module that he's talking about, and I have it almost out. There's a lot of threads. So this is all that it takes. What he's talking about here, it's in my hand. This is what you're going to buy. And you said that's going to be the normal upgrade price, $29,
Yes, sir.
but $30 basically. All right. So you're going to be able to buy this for $30, screw it right into your light, a 38, a 50, or a 66. It's going to make it brighter. And then, so I'm saying all this. I want you to tell me if I'm wrong about something. But we've already talked about changing out all these, the heads on here if you want. So if you got a 66 and you just want to make it brighter, you can change that out. But if you've got a 66 and say, man, I sure would like to have a smaller head and still see as far or close to as far as my 66, you could buy the 50 and put it
That's
right
correct.
on there. So is that right? Man alive. When are we going to be
great.
getting these? I mean, I know we're recording this a week or two early, but when do you think those will be on the market?
We're
August,
talking
or-
hopefully this week. Hopefully one day this week they should be up.
Oh,
day this week.
This week. Well, this is going to be old news
It's
by the
gonna be
time
old
this
news.
comes out. Great. That's the only reason we got the news. It's old news now. See, we've this is like Back to the Future or something. I'm not sure what just happened, but we have breaking news that's no longer breaking when it airs. But no, it'll be the first time I know a lot of people have heard about it. So I'm speaking completely out of turn again into the future, which when you listen to this is going to be old. I'm really confused right now, but we will have these as an upgrade feature at Outdoor Legacy. So we will pick these up and we will have them available, which might be by the time you hear this. I have no idea. But no, that's awesome. That is
great. I mean, the
great.
ability to have a smaller light but still have, and get further range out of it is a great thing. I hate the term game changer. I'm just not a fan of that term, but it is, if there's anything that is a game changer, it seems like that is being able to have, that much difference with a smaller light. But let me ask you this. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say is just one thing, and this is, I know I'm trying to not just look like I'm patronizing, but this is a big deal to me, and it really is, because we've already talked about customer service and all these things, and I appreciate that it would be perfectly fine and no one would say a word and everybody would think it's normal for y'all to can't even say the word, to create a brand new line of lights and say, hey, these are the new LRX2s. And you put that new LED in there and everybody buys a new $180 light. And you could do it and everybody go, wow, this is great. But instead, you're selling them an LED for $30 that they can put in their current light and get that upgrade. And that's a big deal. There's not a lot of companies that would do that.
Yeah,
so
kudos
to y'all.
Rob said it best. It's not always about, selling the lights, but making the lights that people currently have better. And that's why, even if you date back to the first rifle light Rob built, which was the Destroyer, the tail caps we have now, the regular push button tail cap, still works on the old Destroyer from 2009. So he tries to keep it to where he's always kept it to where all the parts are interchangeable. Because even the guys that have the LR model lights, the 30 LR, the 50 LR, and the 66 LR, it's an upgrade for those too. So you could still take this LED and put it in that light. It's not just the LRX models either. That's the cool part about it, is it's constantly trying to keep people who even have already bought our lights from having to buy new ones. Now, I'm not going to say there's not benefits of buying the LRXs, because Rob did in time, and learning fully focusable lights. He went from the LRs were 1 3/4 twist from flood to spot. The LRXs are 3/4 twist. The Canon is 1/8 twist. So as he's gone, he's been able to figure out how to make a shorter flood to spot, so people don't have to take so much time to spin the head to get to a spot beam. So there's different features that you get when you upgrade your lights, but it's not a necessity. You don't have to upgrade your lights to get better performance.
Yeah, Jason, I thought that is a great point. The ability to interchange these components and improve your light for a small dollar amount is a good thing, and that does show the development of the company. I do want to ask one question. We've talked about products. We've talked about the company. There's a lot of night vision hunters that listen and watch the show that would like some advice. So everybody knows that whenever you're using night vision, you've got an IR light mounted and you take a shot, there's that second of white flash where basically the flashback comes into the scope, and you can't see anything for about a second. Can you give some advice out there to night vision hunters that are looking to eliminate that, or maybe cut that time down where you're getting that white flashback in your eyes where you can't see for a second? Because there's a lot of theories going around that can, make that better or help out with that.
Absolutely. A lot of guys, who run bolt guns, they tend to want to just mount to the top of the Wraith or top of the ATN or whatever scope they're running, for that matter. But like you said, you do get flashback, you do get muzzle blast, if you would, that goes away. And if you're on a sounder, that can keep you from, if you're trying to take down multiples, it can keep you from getting on another one. So me personally, my personal experience with I run the Wraith, I put the light as far forward underneath my AR-15 as possible, because it's projecting the light out. So a lot of times my light is actually past my muzzle blast, and a lot of guys are like, well, won't that affect the light? Like, can't you hurt the light? No, you cannot. You will not affect. We do not run a glass lens in the light, so even if you don't have let's say a linear compensator or something that pushes the blast out front in front of you, and you just have a muzzle brake, that muzzle brake will not affect that light. So, but I always recommend to people, if you can put it as far forward on the bottom or the side, whichever you prefer, you're going to have better performance even after shots and for follow-up shots than you would if you actually mount it on the scope itself.
Yep, that's great advice. So all you out there, you heard, putting that thing as far forward. Now I see pictures with it all the time, and I also know that it helps with direction too. If you've got that light mounted underneath your AR rail as far to the front as you can, instead of hanging off the side, it's right there in line and makes it with, pointing it and makes it easier getting your beam right. But yeah, Jason Robertson.
Yes.
You got anything else?
I don't. I tell you. Well, I do. I've got about 50 things.
But I want to get the professional stuff out of the way first.
Mr.
Professional.
I have a lot of professional stuff to ask, but I'm still. No joke. Y'all were sitting there talking about where to mount it, and I'm just rolling over my head like, okay, I've got to get these new LEDs in here, and I'm going to get these heads. And I'm thinking, hey, I'm thinking about business. Y'all are over here talking about mountain lights.
He's creating a PO and order for you right now.
Exactly right. Hope you don't. Did you hear the typing over here as I'm emailing Rob, getting an order in? So no, I don't have any more professional questions that I feel like we have time for. I have a lot of questions, but they take a lot of time. So what do you want to ask, Cons? I can tell you got something up your sleeve.
I do. I know, Jason. You've gotten into hog hunting here with a rifle somewhat recently, but you're a big time bow hunter, and I see guys out there hog hunting with bows all the time. But my question is for you: are guys that hunt hogs with bows, are they better hunters than guys that hunt hogs with rifles?
I won't.
Loaded question.
It is a loaded question. I put you on the spot, and I always set up people to possibly offend a big segment of our audience every time. Well, so feel free.
I won't say better hunters. I won't say. And man, because there's a lot of guys. I'll tell you, there's some guys out there that I've watched that have shot coyotes at 450 yards with a rifle at night, and that's impressive.
If you can do that with a bow, you're really good.
Yeah, you're doing.
Yeah,
you're
I
really
thought you were gonna say bow.
I'm gonna be honest with you. The furthest shot I've seen with a bow at night on anything was with my own two eyes. Was my buddy Joe. He shot a nilgai at 76 yards at night with a red light. But no, it takes, and I've told people this before, but when I go hunting with my bow, I have a backpack, and the only things I use to carry in my backpack are a thermocell, an extra release, some water, and then I carry my bow in my hand. So when I shoot a hog, I'm tracking it with nothing except a light. So, it does take a little bit more, I guess you could say, I won't say I don't know what the good word to use is. Balls
grit.
Yeah. That's good to climb up through some rose hedge and some weesacks. Looking for a pig that you shot that you hope you made a good shot on and is going to be laying there dead. But there's only been one time I can say that I went up in the weeds and had one that was still alive and wasn't very happy, and it was inside some rose hedge. He was not, but I backed up pretty quick, to say the least.
Well, I know. Yeah, Jason Robertson will not go track a hog without a rifle and a pistol on. So
it depends, but yeah, I do prefer both because the rifle has the thermal or the night vision on it, and then I got the pistol in case I run out of ammo there. But I don't go track a hog unless I can drive a mule or a 4-wheeler over to it where I can jump on real quick and get away. Exactly. So. I tell you, no joke, shooting. I mean, we're here in East Texas, so we got, thick woods. When we're shooting hogs, they're running as fast as they can to get to the fence, to get to the woods. And so a lot of times we're catching them right there at the edge of the woods or the fence when they're going in. So we do have to go in and drag them out sometimes. And I'm telling you, it is nerve-wracking, even with the thermal. If you can look in there and, a handheld and spot them and see where they are, and you see that thing's halfway alive, I just cannot imagine going in there with nothing but a sharp stick to try to get that thing. That just seems like a terrible idea to me.
Basically what it is, a sharp stick.
Seems like a bad idea. Well, listen, folks, I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you maybe learned something. I hope you learned a little bit about Sniper Hog Lights, and we really, really appreciate Jason from Sniper Hog Lights coming, spending some time with us today, telling us a little more about their company. We've learned about the new stuff. And what about this? Tell everybody, the listeners, where they can find y'all. If they want to look up some more information on maybe some of your other products or, just find y'all on social media, where they need to go.
Well, if you're looking to purchase any lights, you can find them on Outdoor Legacy Gear or contact Jason Robertson.
Thank you.
Thank you. as far as social media goes, I try to do a lot on Facebook, Instagram. I do a lot on. I try to keep YouTube. A lot of my personal YouTube videos. My own hunts I put on the YouTube channel, and then I'm on. We got YouDo, and man, if it's social media related, I try to have an account on a little bit of everything. I have a hard time keeping up with it all the time, but if you message me on there or you get a hold of me somehow, I will get back to you and help anybody out with any questions or concerns, or even customer service issues. You have a customer service issue, feel free to message me any way, shape, or form. And then you can always I'll give you my number, or get a hold of shoot me a message and I'll call you. I try to help out everybody I can as much as I can. So
that's awesome. Well, you heard it here first. Listen, we do. Again, thank you very much. We appreciate you taking the time to come out. Check out Sniper Hog Lights, again, a Texas company. So there's a lot of guys I know who are our listeners who they like to support Texas companies. And so if you're looking for any kind of a white light, red light, green light, IR light, these are the guys for you. And like you said, they've got other stuff, feeder lights, they got some headlamps and different things. So definitely look to them for your next light purchase. But as always, we appreciate you coming and checking out the show. You can always find Hans on YouTube and Instagram at HansETX. You can find Outdoor Legacy at OutdoorLegacyGear.com. You can give us a call at 877-350-1818 and find us on all the social medias.
Yep. Thanks again. We will see y'all next week with another episode of the Late Night Vision Show. And always remember, stay safe in the field. If you're bow hunting, make sure that that broadhead is extra sharp. And we'll see y'all next week. Stay safe in the field. Keep making them bacon pancakes.